Hello everyone, today I'm going to be taking a look at another classic fantasy box from Wargames Atlantic. This time round it's the Villager set in conjunction with Grey for Now Games. 24 multi-part 28mm figures, courtesy of Wargames Atlantic and Grey for Now Games, suitable for use with Guards of Traitor's Toll. You can visit traderstool.com for game rules and assembly guides. These sprues are up on that site on Grey for Now Games currently. I think they're going to go up there as well. It shows you the sprue layout and if there are any components that are required to be put together. But otherwise, gives you a bit of a breakdown of what's happening here. So let's have a nosy at the actual sprues. Okay, so the box contains 4 sprues. Each sprue has 6 figures on it, 3 male, 3 female bodies. As you can see, festooned with things. Give you a quick look at the reverse, although it's really just a couple of bodies that you'll see there. We'll have a closer look at said sprue. Okay, so starting off, heads. We have quite a few heads on this sprue. I think it's approximately 30. You can see up here we have the first sort of 15. Most of them are one piece. There are a couple of 2-piece heads. If I flip this round. So down this bottom end, or the top end if you go by the Wargames Atlantic, we have this long flowing hair, and then this head or face with the flower in it. So they go together. Also, there's a ponytail that goes into the back of this head here. You can see the dimple for it. So those 2 heads are required, or those 4 pieces are required to make those 2 heads. There is 2 other options on the sprue, if you will. If I go around here, we have a flute. And then there's a very specific hand, which is this one. Now, on those instructions on the website, they pick those out in colours. There's nothing on the actual sprue to show you. The sprue itself is packed with a lot of arms and heads and other bits and pieces for you to be as flexible in your kit bashing as possible. So we have a variety of tools. Could be weapons, but mostly tools. So there's a hammer and sickle, there's a held knife, you've got some axes, a wand or a pointing stick. All of these little bits and pieces around the sprue, along with a host of things like a sack or bag, if you will. There's a snake, a bundle of herbs or dried flowers, a cleaver, there's a fish and an owl and a teapot and a skull. All these little pieces that will fit into the open hands. Again, there's a substantial amount of hands on the sprues, hands/arms. So you can mix and match. But really, if you're looking to make a set of generic medieval style peasants or villagers, then this is a good set. A lot of times people are looking for non-combatants and every model has got a weapon. Here's the panacea to that. There are a couple of aprons, a full and a half. And then there's also these sort of cowls or covers that go over the shoulder. There is the suggestion as well on the website that if you are going to be building some of these things with those, you may need to do a bit of trimming. I have not. So let's take a look at the models. Okay, so starting with the women, we've got a little flower gatherer here. Pop the penny on the front, sickle in one hand and a little bundle of flowers in the other. And this uses the 2-piece head because she's got a flower and a hairline. Advertising her wares, if you will. Very simple figures as far as making. It really is just arms onto bodies and a head. As you can see, approximately 28mm to eye level, which is spot on. Other figures you can build. We have this wanderer. Could be a monk with a stave and a satchel? Who knows? Who knows what she is as she wanders around Tollingchester. We've got a musician playing that flute. And a school mistress. See, wasn't a staff at all, just a stick. Telling the kids to pay attention to the blackboard as she's trying to teach them the alphabet or numbers or something. Here's how you do tally marks. There's also a couple of heads that are a little bit fantastical. So this one has got a touch of the elf around the ears, which is possibly why she's got the fan there to hide herself. And there's also a head with a couple of little horns on it. So tiefling, I think, is the closest fantasy race without actually going into demonic things. I quite like that. And then we have a assassin come thief with the sort of cowling on it. Now, I will say, if I bring in the other fellow, because I was going to do two of these, I originally had this knife up as if they were just coming in to stab somebody, and then decided I wanted the cowl on, but because it is rigid, you can't have the pose like that. So you're going to have to think about what arms are going on if you're going to add these, because they are very restrictive. The hands are going to go down, and there's not much you can do about that. There's a little bit of wiggle room with this one because it has a fold over the shoulder, so this arm can be raised higher, but the dagger hand is the opposite hand. So again, it's one for the kit bashers and converters. The option is there to do more with it, but if you're looking to just put forward straight figures from the box without too much hassle, then you're going to have to restrict your pose somewhat. I've got a entertainer for the kids here, with a dashing cravat and top hat, doing his punch and duty, or in this case just punch. A beggar going through town in rags, asking for some money, while a merchant goes, "I'm not giving you any of this money. It's my money. You can jog on." So there is a sort of standard three, if you will. You have a sort of posher set of clothes, although they could just be decent workers. Then you have a middling set of clothes, maybe a bit more, less flash, no big boots, that sort of thing. But again, nice clothes, in this case a blacksmith. And then you've got a ragged set. So in this case we have a miner coming back with his haul. And that's the same for the female set of figures as well. So you've got a barefoot Contessa styly lady. You've got your sort of worker with a decent set of working gear on, and then you have your, say, top end, where they can be a bit flasher, and with the right additional pieces, they could be, very wealthy or middle of the pack. But that's some of the examples of the fantasy miniatures you can make. So a very comprehensive set from Wargames Atlantic and great for now games. So there we go, folks. Your villagers box, although a lot more like townsfolk. Maybe just call them the hoi polloi. 24 multi-part plastics, and there's a ton of options in there. So if you're using them for the Guards of Traitor's Toll, which is what they were sculpted for, obviously there's a lot to be used in there. If you're just planning on working them into your own fantasy games in some way, shape or form, there's just so many options that allow you to really dress your table appropriately, or make them into some sort of levied unit of militia as well. The arms and the like can be readjusted in multiple ways to allow you to make them a bit more militaristic, or if you have some of the other boxes, so the guardsmen, the peasantry, or that sort of thing from the medieval range, the age of chivalry, then you could make them be a bit more workmanlike as combatants. But let me know what you think below. Until next time, bye-bye.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.